Good morning, Mergers. One angry pagan here, and Petra with football. I have a bit of an odd one to have a ramble about with you guys today, and it's one that's leaving me conflicted. So, I was just before coming out with the puppy dog, with the Muppet. Come on in, Muppet. Before coming out with her today, I was watching a video by a YouTube channel called TLDR News about UK and the EU still having arguments about fishing. Now, in part, that video was about the arguments still going on about, UK and EU fishers having arguments over rights and stuff, right? But that's not what I want to talk to you about, because the other part of the video talked about something that's more in my wheelhouse, more in the environmentalist side of things, right? And I think we've got a problem with the EU. On this, I might have to actually side with the EU, with the UK over the EU on it. And it's about sand eels. The EU, we don't really do sand eel fishing in the UK, right? It's a little bit, but not really that much. In the UK, the ones that are actually more dependent on the sand eel fish are those seabirds that are endangered, like the kittiwake and the puffin. You know those silverfish you usually see coming out of the mouths of puffins? Yeah, that's sand eels. And after I watched the video, I did a bit of extra reading, and yeah, the RSPB and other organisations have been citing a danger to sand eel populations due to overpopulation, due to overfishing, which has drastically affected the populations of kittiwakes and puffins and other seabirds in the northeast of England and in Scotland. Well, the EU apparently tried to come back and say, oh, this isn't based on scientific evidence. But this isn't, this is what leaves me conflicted, because in this case, it's not a case of Brexit Britain trying to have an argument with the EU. I reckon this would have been an argument with the EU, with other EU countries like Denmark and France, if we were in the EU or not, right? Don't get me wrong, this still has Brexit element, because the EU are saying, or at least EU countries are saying, that they don't want to do deals with the UK unless the UK fisheries, the UK fishing situation has been dealt with. And apparently, sand eels are apparently a notable part of that. Yeah. Now, I'm an environmentalist, and for me, I actually have to side with the UK on this. Now, the issue is that the EU countries like France and Denmark and whatnot are threatening not to, to scupper the defence, security deals and shit with the UK over fish. Yeah. And you thought the Brexit arguments about fish were bad. The Europeans apparently can be just as fucking stupid. This about the sand eels. I'm sorry, Danes and French. Fucking look elsewhere for your sand eels. You're actually putting endangered species further in danger with what you're doing. As it is, the Tories have made the preservation of these animals harder anyway. We don't need the EU adding on top of that because they've got the upper hand when it comes to any negotiating deals. Thank you very much, Boris Johnson. That's what I mean. I'm conflicted because, this on my channel. We're pro EU on this channel, yeah. Anti-Brexit. But this isn't me being pro Brexit here, not pro Brexit Britain here. This is me being pro the British environment here. British ecological preservation, you know? I wish. Oh, see, tell me this isn't disheartening from the EU. Now, don't get me wrong. I will reiterate, when it comes to the other stuff to do with fishing, I really care. Like, we don't eat much of the fish that we fish that we fish ourselves in this country. Usually gets sold to fucking Europe. So, but when it comes to the sand eels, you know what? I think the UK is right on this. I do. I find that's an odd situation to be in. Come on, Muppet. Bondo. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on this. As someone who's pro EU and also pro-environmentalist, I have to side with the environment. Like, the EU is not more important than the environment. I'm sorry, it just isn't. You're not going to convince me that the EU is more important than our environment. This is the kind of move I'd see. You see off of the US rather than the EU. They were trying. One of their arguments was they were trying to say this isn't backed up. It's not scientific data. It's not backed up by scientific data, and it is. And the court said it is. You know, again, this isn't like. I have to reiterate. This isn't like Brexit Britain. And the right wingers, like, fucking think, wanting to have an argument with the EU, right? The RSPB and other nature charity organisations and whatnot backed this, backed the UK in this, where I'm pretty sure ordinarily over the past 10 years or so they would have more likely backed EU over the UK. But this isn't good. The EU, yeah, I think the EU's like the one with the bad take on this. Again, let me know what you guys think about it, because I do feel conflicted, but ultimately I think that I'm here then. I think my allegiances do lie and ultimately with the environment and natural food web, yeah? So, hello Muppet, what are you up to? What are you doing, shit? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is going to be interesting, I think. This is going to be an interesting argument to have with the EU, because, you know, I looked myself before coming out, just so I wasn't just going off of that one source I was getting from TLDR News, right? And yeah, no, the hey then, the scientific data is there. The EU is wrong on that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. For me and the Muppet Badger, have a good day, guys. Blessed be.